The Nigerian Youth Parliament is composed of young Nigerians aged 18 to 29 selected through various ministries of youth development. These typically include representatives from each of the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, a template similar to that of the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, where each state is represented by 3 senators with a gender consideration of at least one female out of the 3. One of such female representatives at the level of the Nigerian Youth Parliament is our guest. Welcome to your number one parliamentary program, Young Parliamentarians. Our guest on this episode of the program shall be unveiled after this message. I'm Joshua Oxley, your host, to stay tuned. Welcome back. Our discussion on this week's episode of Young Parliamentarians shall center on Northern Borno youth representation and gender parity in the 6th session of the Nigerian Youth Parliament. To speak elaborately on these, I have here with me in the studio member representing Borno North Senatorial District in the current 6th session of the Nigerian Youth Parliament. You're welcome to the program, Honorable Fatima Amma.
Thank you for having me here. I am Honorable Fatima Lamisula, member representing Borno North at the Nigerian Youth Parliament.
You're welcome to the program once again. Let me start from the fact that since your inauguration on the 5th February of 2025 this year, it has seemed nothing transformative has been happening. And how is the Honorable Ali Idris Zakari-led assembly faring since inauguration?
Since inauguration, we have been taking part in, activities around our various states, and we are planning on a national program now. We have the International Day for Parliamentarians coming up 9th of July 2025 on Wednesday at the National Assembly.
Aside that, any legislative steps taken, any motion or views?
We are pushing on the reserved seat bills for women, and we are advocating and calling on all the youth and the female gender to participate and take part in the support for the bill, which is supported by my senator, Senator Muhammad Tahir Manguno, who is supporting the bill at the Red Chamber, and Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. He's the one supporting that in the Green Chamber.
So, Honorable Amma, so what are the peculiarities noticed so far in the 6th session when compared to the previous ones?
The peculiarities we have compared to the previous session is the engagement of each and every member of the Parliament. We were carried along in all the processes and everything that has to do with the parliamentarian decisions. Whatever the speaker, the honorable speaker, Right Honorable Aliu Zakari, if he has a decision, he brings it on the platform and we discuss, and whoever has any concerns, any discussions, he brings it down to the platform and it is discussed accordingly. So every member of the parliament is being recognized and being given their due consideration.
Carried along.
Yes.
And going forward, can you describe what female representation seems like in your parliament? I believe gender parity is still well captured in the configuration of the leadership of the Nigerian Youth Parliament 6th session.
Of course.
Like what obtained in the previous assemblies.
Okay, we have a very agile woman caucus leader who is Dr. Ayomide, and she is very, very good at creating and lending the voice of women for representation, and she gives us this blueprint to follow well when it comes to women representation. Like when we had this International Women's Day on 8th March 2025, we were asked to give our own views and says, and we were given the opportunity to express our concerns about that. And then We have the World Menstrual Hygiene Day. We also took part in this, and various senators in their constituencies were able to mobilize women in their secondary schools and other community engagements, where they distributed pads to secondary school girls and just across IDP camps and so on. So the Women Caucus is very, very powerful in the sixth session of the Nigerian Youth Parliament.
And does that gender balance?
Yes, there is this gender balance, because even in the right order, when the speaker is a male, then the deputy speaker has to be a female. Then there is a quota for the female, which is the Women Caucus. So we have our leader and we have our own voice at hand.
Okay. Now to the Northern Borno youth representation properly in the assembly. How best have they been captured so far in your legislative activities on the floor of the chamber? I mean your constituents.
My constituency really this is something new to my constituency actually, because due to the insurgency in Borno State, the Borno State youth have been lagging behind when it comes to youth representation, especially when it comes to women representing the youth, especially at the national level. So this is something new, and we are trying to find a way to create awareness to the youth, to show them that something like this exists, and this is a voice for the youth, and we are there for the youth, of course.
Okay. Aside that, what are your policies like? Your programs, those that you've embarked upon, those that you're yet to accomplish, and those that you're envisaging to accomplish as far as your constituents are concerned, policies, programs?
We have series of programs that are planned across the year, and one of it is a social media literacy. It is a certification that is carried out with liaise, where we liaise with the Millet Foundation. We liaise with the Millet Foundation, and they give this certification for the youth, and they give them the first-hand knowledge of using the social media for advocacy, because most of the youth in our era want to use social media for advocacy and activism and other things, but they don't have this social media literacy to channel their activism in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying this is very timely, and this is the right time to bring about this initiative for the social media literacy. I'm also planning on a leadership summit, which is going to take place next month, July, also in Borno State, in my constituency. And this leadership summit is about the building of the youth capacity for participation in politics, leadership position and decision-making spaces. Because most of the youth, I realize that most of the youth in my constituency want to take part in politics and other decision-making bodies, but
they're politically informed in Borno North.
Yes, they are politically informed, but they don't pay attention to building their capacity to be able to withhold such positions, because such positions like the politics and the leaderships come with a lot of responsibilities and a lot of challenges that the youth don't understand that they have to take that burden when they take that position. So we are looking to call on leaders, experts, and those that, especially women, and then the leaders and the youth that are already in leadership positions in the state, to come down and educate our youth about the process and the experiences, and they will tell their stories of how they went that far in their leadership positions and their political careers.
Let's move to the challenges now. What are the bottlenecks as you act in this capacity as a representative of your people? What are the bottlenecks within the chamber, and then going back home to see your people? What are the challenges?
So far, I faced little challenge, because my challenge was from the inauguration, while we were inaugurated, some of the youths from my constituency want to know how we were being selected. As I told you, it is something that the youths were not aware of most of the time due to the insurgency in our state. So such development has been, it has been dragged back from my constituency. So they want to know how we were being selected to this position, because most of them came to know about the youth parliament when I was during our inauguration. It is then that they realized that something like this happened, and I was
the publicity,
yes,
and the whole glamour.
Of course. So they wanted to know how we were being selected, and the process of selection takes place in various state ministries of youth and sports development. So when you take part in all of this, students' unionism and other things, and the ministry sees your effort, and the ministry sees and recognizes your effort, it pushes you to such positions, federal positions. So the youth are unaware of this, and then when it comes to gender issues, they were like, how can a female represent them at a federal level and other things? And this is not really, the issue is not from them. They were not really informed about it. So this is the time that we are trying to create awareness to them and show them that this is what is going on. So apart from that, I haven't faced any real challenge, because I have been getting support from my senator, my principal, who is the chief whip of the Senate, Senator Muhammad Tahir Manguno.
Okay. Going forward, do you have any plan to address these issues? As you stated, you mentioned some, and you still have some years to represent your constituents. There must be challenges that you should envisage, that may emanate from this, and those that may even come up, from different angles entirely. How do you wish to cope when such challenges show?
With the support of my senator, who is the chief whip of the Senate, Senator Muhammad Tahir Manguno, we embark on youth empowerment and development programs, which he gave me the opportunity to bring up all my ideas, whatever idea or initiative that I think will bring about the development of the youth in our constituency. He gave me that open check for me to feel whatever I like. So I've been writing up a series of activities, programs, and initiatives that will bring about development to the entire youth of the northern Borno and Borno state at large.
We're now going on another break. Our discussion continues after this message. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, the program you're watching on NT Parliament is Young Parliamentarians, and I've been engaging member representing Northern Borno Senatorial District in the current session of the Nigerian Youth Parliament, Honorable Fatima Amma. You can be part of the conversation by reaching out on the platforms showing on the screen. Judging from your narratives, there may be people that are backing you up, there may be people you're looking up to. Who are your role models?
Actually, my role models so far are Mrs. Amina J. Muhammad, who is the Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations, and the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Mrs. Iman Suleiman, who is popularly known as Immaculate Iman.
What makes them different from the rest? What makes them, for you to distinguish them out of other women? You say, okay, these are people I'm looking up to, these are my role models.
Okay. Mrs. Amina J. Muhammad has been a silent achiever. She's that person that does it silently without people, without making noise. You just see her doing things and making changes. So this is what always motivates me. She just do it silent. This is just her own way. She just does things without putting much effort and energy, but there are efforts on the ground, you understand, but you don't see that effort in her, but she makes noise on the ground. So I really love this about her, because she's all about achievement and getting things done. You understand?
Result oriented.
Yeah, of course, result oriented. So, and then the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Mrs. Iman Suleiman, she has made a difference. Like within her 2 years of tenure, there are a lot of women engagement, women initiatives. She created voice for women. You understand? She gave women, the room to be and to show who they are to the world. So this is something that she did within just 2 years of her, of her tenure. So I can imagine if she has completed her 4 years tenure, and the results will be very, very remarkable.
Okay, are these public figures you mentioned instrumental to your nomination to represent your constituencies, your constituents, Northern Borno youths at the Nigerian Parliament? Are they the brain behind it?
No, they are not actually, because I've not been in communication with any of them, but I just, study them from afar and take from their, take lesson from their actions and all the things they do.
So how did your nomination came about? Or is it Senator Mongono or is behind it?
No, it is not Senator Mongono. I have been taking part in, all the student unionism in the state. So I was the vice president of Borno, National Union of Borno State Students, and from that, when it comes to the gender parity something, there is there has been underrepresentation of women in the in all these student youth engagements. So then it became that there are few eligible female youths that are to represent the state in the national level. That is how I was being, nominated as someone that has the
charisma,
the record from before.
Okay, are you collaborating with the Borno state government, especially the State House of Assembly? You have some NGOs, international partners, and most especially the children parliament, in a way to catch them young?
Of course, I just like how I take part in the National Assembly, in the sitting of the National Assembly. I also take part in the Borno State House of Assembly too. So I observe their sitting to know how the parliamentary works takes place, and we give. We always write and support all the bills that are youth related and gender related. So we write to support such motions so that the youth are always
domesticated.
Yes, so the youths are always carried along and included.
Okay, moving on, where do you see yourself in future? You're a businesswoman, I know. Is it politics? Is it business, or you're merging both and you become one philanthropist later in life?
So I although I really focus on my business, because I have 4 to 5 startup businesses that I want to see them grow and become independent. And
you empower youth as well.
Of course, because all of these initiatives are youth oriented and are there to empower the youth. So I would want to see them grow, and I want to use my leadership position to advocate for it. You understand? So that it gets this audience and it gets the youths to be carried along in those initiatives. So in 10 years time, I'm seeing myself in leadership positions in general, not necessarily politics, but in leadership positions, either leading my own business, either leading my own NGO, or just taking leadership positions.
Can you share with us your most exciting moments in your journey in politics so far? And I'm sure Nigerian youths will want to know that. The most exciting moment.
The most exciting moment for me is when during our inauguration, as I told you earlier, during this this what will I say? This scandal or something that happened regarding my nomination. I was surprised at the rate at which people showed up for me, people that I didn't know, I never met them, I never interact with them, come on social media, you understand, to support me, you understand.
Was there a scandal before?
Yes, there was a scandal regarding that gender something,
okay,
yes,
okay.
that nomination and gender something. So the youth just came out and just, you know, fought for me without even knowing me. Most of them don't like 80% of them don't know me. Some of them know me, but, you know, I don't relate with them. And they just went out and, you know, supported me, you know, showed their support, that they are supporting me just because, yes, on social media, viral. Of course. So this was very exciting, and I felt the, you know, obligation that I would do the right thing to, you know, to never bring them down.
Their interests.
Yes, of course.
Has there been any disappointing moment in your career so far?
So far, I don't have any. You know.
That's a great one. That's a great testimony. A quick one before we go. Considering the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerian youth, especially the female folks, your message to them?
My message to the female folks especially is to go out of their comfort zone. You know, there are a lot of intelligent, talented women, you know, that are leadership oriented, you know, but they are just hiding in their comfort zone and you won't know them. This is one of the things that, you know, brought me out of my comfort zone also, because I have a lot of mentors that guide me, and they always tell me that I am an embarrassment, you know. I'm just a waste of, you know, knowledge and resources, that I just, you know, I just kept myself. So they always push me out. You understand? They always tell me to go out of my comfort zone and explore. That if I don't go out, people will not see me. People will not notice that someone like me existed. So there are a lot of people that are even more than me, but are hiding in their comfort zone. So they have to come out of their comfort zone for people to know that someone like this, a resourceful person like this, existed.
To show their potential.
Yes, of course, to show their potentials.
Embrace them.
Of course.
Thanks for coming to the show and for being our guest, Honorable Fatima Amma.
Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it.
What an eye-opening moment since we've started. It's on this note we say to our viewers and listeners a big thank you for staying with us from the beginning on this episode of the program Parliamentarians. Kindly keep your contributions coming in via the social media platforms showing on your screen. See you next time on this same channel, NT Parliament. Once again, I'm Joshua Abuja.